Thank you so much for joining us today at Kaiser University Multidisciplinary Center as we present Tech Talk, presented by Cheyney Cushing and Rita Ellis.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Today's objectives are to be able to identify types of technology that can be utilized to assist, and also to identify at least one new app that you can utilize with your students.
So when we think about how technology can help us, in what ways does technology currently impact your life? You probably have a smartphone, you might have a calculator, computer, a tablet, etc. Any of those handheld devices, maybe a camera. Well, in the 2015 census, the US found that among all households, 78% had a desktop or laptop, 75% had a handheld computer, such as a smartphone or other handheld wireless computer, like a tablet, and 77% had broadband internet subscription. So our lives have already been fully immersed into technology. So when we think about the areas that you struggle with, like tasks that are difficult, generating ideas, organizing your thoughts, maybe there are specific academic tasks that our students struggle with or we struggle with, all of these things and more can be supported by the use of technology.
So one of the technology options that's available today is assistive technology. And there's a wide variety of assisted technology options that we're going to talk about, from programs and apps to extensions for your web browsers. And they can provide assistance to those with visual or hearing impairments. They can help with managing and structuring our time. And they can help with those communication barriers that some of our students may face. They can also help us in our day-to-day life. One of the things that we want to share with you right now, and bear with us because this is new technology for us. So bear with us as we work on sharing. We're going to share an iPad version of an app that's called Proloquo to Go, and that's a communication app. Well, I'm having problems connecting. Hang on just a second. Anyway, Proloquo to Go is it's a paid app, and it's primarily for iOS devices. So for your phone or your iPad, and the only downside to that is that there is a cost associated with it. And it is not available for free, but stay tuned because we will be sharing one that is available for free. Hang on just a second. I think I've got it figured out. The world of technology, this is what happens.
And in addition to the iOS, there's one called Talk Tablet that looks very similar to what Rita's going to share, that's available on your Android devices too. So it looks very similar.
Okay, hopefully you guys can see my screen now. This is called Proloquo to Go. And so a student would have their communication board on here, and it is fully customizable, but they would be able to say,
I want more. I want more.
So they can say messages to you.
Not go. I not go.
And be able to communicate. And I'm just demonstrating a couple of the more simple phrases, but there is a plethora of boards that are available and that are pre-made, and you can also customize it and make your own boards. And most of these use actual symbol sticks pictures, but you could actually use real pictures, and I have in my classroom before. Another one that we want to share with you is called Sounding Board, and this one is by AbleNet, and it is completely free. But again, this one is also only for iOS devices, so your iPads, iPhones, things like that. This is a quick one that I made last night. It took me about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, and I used a combination of actual symbols and pictures. But say, for instance, you were working with a student and you had some free time that you wanted to allow them to choose. You could have them select from these options or whatever options you have.
Draw a picture.
And you can add the pictures, you can add the sounds, whichever you want. There's also pre-made boards that you can have them do.
I like that.
And so those are, if you're working on money.
Please give me the penny.
Okay, and so maybe you have the money arrayed out in front of them and they could actually select it. But also you always want to model, like when you're talking to them, use their device to model that. So now we're going to try to go back into our PowerPoint.
I know I downloaded that last one recently on my phone. It's a really cool idea to have that available, you know, in case you are going to come in contact with someone who maybe uses a device or uses pictures to speak, so that you have quick access if you need to ask them a question. So the next thing we're going to talk about is a calendar, online calendars. It's obviously one of the more simple tools you can use. Depending on the computer you own, it should come with a calendar that can be linked to your email. And with this, you can send reminders for appointments. It allows you to add details like the address of places that you're going, or online links such as Zoom meetings like we're in now, and contacts. So I personally use Google Calendar, and I really enjoy the features on it. I'm able to share my calendar with other people, share community calendars on web pages. We do that with our KUMDC webpage. We also utilize it for some of our interagency councils that we work with. And you can also send invites with the virtual links inside of them and details about the meeting. So some of the general advantages of using an online calendar include easy access across multiple devices, setting up reminders to go off on your phone, watch, email, etc., and the ability to recreate reoccurring meetings. So if you have a meeting that's the same time every week, or even every day, or every other week, you can go ahead and create it in there, and it will continue on as long as you'd like until you tell it to stop. So those are just some basic features of your online calendars, and there are so many out there. The list is extensive.
So the next one we want to talk to you a little bit about is note-taking apps. And there are several that are out there. These are three of probably the most common: Google Keep, Microsoft OneNote, and Evernote. And the features vary a bit from app to app, but most of them all work very similarly. You make your note, you save it, and you can go back to it later. Google Keep is the one we're going to take a look at closer today. And again, I'm going to share my iPad with you so you can see a sample version of the Google Keep that we've created to show you today. So some of the things that you need to know about is it's available not only on your Android, your iOS devices, but you can also use it on the computer as well. And they all sync between each other. So if you put a note in one, it shows up on all. So for instance, on the left there, we see that we have a reminder today that went off yesterday about our webinar. Another thing you can do is do a voiced message.
This is a note that I can use to speak my thoughts, and it will translate it for me and also record my voice so that I can come back to this later and have access to it.
So that's also, you could save that, download it, whatever you needed to do so that you had access to it. You can use it for something as simple as a grocery list, like we see here. Or if you were writing a paper, you could use it to work on your draft notes. And with that, you can give it a label. So say I want this one to be for school. I can give it that label. I can even, if I want it to stand out from my other notes, I can change the background color of it so it stands out. And if you look, I've typed in some things in here that I want to think about as I write my paper. but I've also saved a link there to a website that I want to go back to as a resource. You can also, if you're working with someone, say for instance, if Cheyney and I were collaborating on writing this paper, I could add her as a collaborator, and then she would be able to also make notations on here. You can save images such as this couch here. This is something that we use in our Google Classroom reading room that we're working on. And you can also save links to documents. So for instance, this is our reading room that we're working on right now in a Google Classroom, and we do read alouds each week, and these are all the different books that we've read aloud, and each one of them links to the actual video recording of us reading it aloud. So there's just a lot that you can do with the notes programs, things that you don't even think about, you don't even realize that it'll do. And so just get in there and poke around with that and see what you can figure out with it. I'm going to go back now to our PowerPoint. And I think with Evernote and Microsoft OneNote, they have even more features than the Google Keep is a pretty simple one.
So a lot of you have probably heard about text-to-speech or speech-to-text. Text-to-speech is a type of assistive technology that reads digital text aloud. So you might also hear it called read aloud technology. And it was initially created for individuals with visual impairments so that without reading something in front of them, they can hear what is written. And there are a ton of apps of both of these that are available. There's also online websites that you can go to that allow you for anyone who has trouble writing or typing, whether for physical needs or for fine motor deficits. Also, individuals with visual impairments can also benefit from that. I see, Lisa, you said you lost the sound for a moment. I think we're having a little bit of an internet issue, but anyway, text-to-speech and speech-to-text are available on a wide variety of apps, of internet platforms, and you can almost get it on any device. There are a lot of, if you have Alexa now, or you have a Siri enabled device, that's all speech to text, text to speech enabled as well. So there are a wide variety of apps that you can use with those on it.
So the next thing we want to talk about are graphic organizers, and they're a great tool for organizing our thoughts. They allow us to take notes, to plan, and then to export our ideas. You can personalize them to fit your style. They help us to strengthen our understanding by brainstorming ideas. They allow us to explore and explain relationships of our ideas and help us to integrate the knowledge we already have. So some of the features are, most will provide you with access to graphics library, or you can import your own graphics. They allow you to record and attach audio clips, some even video clips. You can toggle between diagram and outline modes. So this is great if you're writing a research paper. You can attach notes, insert hyperlinks. And these are a couple of the options that we found. And I've actually used Inspiration and Kidspiration in the classroom before in the past. And Inspiration and Kidspiration both offer free trials where you can make up to 5 maps, or you can download the full version for about $10 each. The MindNode is similar and offers a free 2-week trial. And if you wish to purchase it, it costs about $2.50 a month, or they have a yearly option for approximately $20. But you can see the difference between them. I think Inspiration is a little bit more robust, but if really all you're looking for is mostly for just to be able to do that concept mapping, then MindNode is certainly a good option.
All right, and then online dictionaries, just like any dictionary that we used to have in book form that don't really exist much anymore, most dictionaries have gone online. So your Merriam-Webster, your Oxford Dictionary of English, those are all available online and as apps. They're great resources to just have on your phone. I know on an iPad in the classroom, it's a good idea to have it just because, we don't have a set of dictionaries around like we used to. The Sign ASL dictionary is a great app if you have students who use sign language or students who are deaf or hard of hearing that use sign language. And the Illustrated Mathematics Dictionary is really a cool website. I had not used this previously, but found this recently. And there are a wide variety of math terms that are a little more complex that your students can look up on this website, and it gives you a visual of what that specifically looks like. And if you have students who maybe have an interest in math, this could be a great thing to look at, or students who are struggling in math, this can be a great tool for them to use. And the VisuWords Dictionary, I'm actually going to share with you all so that we can take a look at it. It's a really cool website. Hopefully you can see that, VisuWords. If you hit the Explore button, this is the home. It's going to give you a random word. So we'll see what we get. Well, it came out of mud plantain, but we have aquatic plant, water plant, hydrophyte. A lot of these words are very scientific, but you can type in something as simple as dog. And this dictionary is going to give you all versions of the word with their definitions and how they relate to the original word that I typed in was dog, different words that relate to it. So it's gonna, as you hover over it, it's gonna give you words that relate to it, such as chase, chase after, trail, tail, tag, those sorts of things. And if you see on the left there, it has the parts of speech. So is it a noun, verb, adjective, or adverb? And that's color coordinated. And then the lines in between each one is based on is a word for, is a kind of, is an instance of, is a member of. I'm not going to read through all of them, but they go into more complex relationships as you go on. But this is a really cool app. Well, I'm sorry, not an app, but a really cool website to utilize for words that are a little more complex or like scientific terminology, or even just a fun way to explore words. So if you need a little mind break, you could even just have students type in a simple word on here and just take a look at words that maybe are related to it. And Rita, you can take back control.
Okay, let's see if we can do that.
There we
Thank
go.
you for bearing with us in our technology. All right. So other study tool apps that we're going to talk about are Focus Keeper. It's a customizable time management app that allows you to set a goal and track your progress. Choose a topic to focus on. You can spend X amount of minutes working on exclusively that topic, have your student work on that topic, and then they can take a short break after every 4 cycles. They would take a long break, and then you're going to repeat the process. So this one is one that costs money, but they do allow a free trial of it, a free version of it. But the pro version will allow you to fully customize options and to see more than 3 days of charts, so you can see a student's progress. And it's $1.99 to unlock the pro version. The next one we're going to talk about is Socratic by Google. So is your student stuck on their schoolwork? Well, they can ask Socratic a question simply by taking a picture of it with their phone or their iPad, and the app will help to find the best online resource to help them learn the content. This one is designed for high school and university level, so it is higher level questions that they're going to answer. Quizlet is another one. I know that we've talked about it in the past, and it provides an easy way to study and practice and master whatever it is you're trying to learn. And you can create your own flashcards or search from pre-made decks. Subscription prices may vary, but there are many features that are available in the free version. And Khan Academy and Khan Academy Kids, those allow you to learn pretty much anything for free, and they offer videos, interactive exercises, in-depth articles in subjects such as math, science, economics, humanities, and more. Learning Done in the app allows you to sync to your khanacademy.org account as well. And also the Khan Academy Kids version. You may want to check this out if you have younger kiddos or maybe kiddos that are struggling with basic skills.
So now we're going to take a look at some Google Chrome extensions, and in a moment I'm going to pull up Google Chrome. But any of the extensions that we talk about here are available through the Google browser. The first one I found to be really interesting is the colorblind Dalton, and this allows people with some types of color blindness to see more colors in the Chrome browser. So in a moment I'm going to show you how simple it is to download an extension, but by literally the click of a button, you can access these extensions, and a student who maybe has color blindness could see more colors. The page plain text takes out all extraneous information from a web page except for the text. And I will go ahead and share this one so I can show you how that looks. So if I was on a website and we were maybe looking at presidents, we're going to look at George Washington, and you see all these ads around and different pictures, and you don't want students clicking on them, and we don't want to see a picture, or we don't want to see a video here. I can simply go up to the right corner here where I have all of my extensions, and I can click on page plain text, and it will take away all of those things. All that's left here is the content, what the students need to read. And so that, I felt like that was a really cool cool device for students or individuals who need less distractions to read. I know I would find it easier to read this without all of those distractions. And it also removes all of the formatting from the text and allows you to be able to easily copy things. If you need to maybe take notes on something, you can more easily do that. So I will go back. Let's see. This is what your Chrome web store is going to look like when you pull it up. And you can easily search here for any apps that you're looking for. You can also browse. They have, different categories. And it literally only takes a few moments to add it. And once it is ready, it will show up right here. Here are all of my extensions. It is ready now. And it went ahead and popped it up for me so that I can utilize it. And I just need to click on it if I want to use something from it. Of course, for this one, we need to have an account. But with, any of them, it's very, very simple. So let me go back. Rita, are you able to stop share or stop our, go back to the PowerPoint? Yes, please.
Okay, absolutely. And we had a question about all these apps and their names. You should be able to check in your chat window and be able to download the presentation, and that will have all of these slides that you're seeing now. So you'll be able to access the names of all of these.
So the next extension that I wanted to take a look at is called Remember the Milk. And this one's available for almost any browser and device. So it's a Google extension on here, but you can use it in the web browser. You can use it on your iPhone, on your Android, on pretty much any device you have, it can be used with. Also in the world where, these voice assistants are popular, like I was talking about Siri and Alexa and Google Voice, Remember the Milk is also available on Google Assistant and Siri compatible devices. This is another form of voice to text software. So you can prioritize tasks and make them repeat on whatever schedule you pick. And just as the name suggests, it's going to remind you of whatever you tell it to remind you of. So if you have a grocery list, or if you have a meeting at 3 o'clock that you need to remember to go to, it's going to tell you those things. You can also use these across all of your devices. So again, if you need the reminder on your phone, computer, if you have a smartwatch, it's possible to do that as well. Mind Maps is very similar to the maps that Rita was speaking of earlier. It's, of course, a diagram used to represent words and ideas linked to and arranged around a central keyword or idea. You can use this app to brainstorm and enhance your ideas, represent your words and ideas in an image format, and make study tools more memorable. It also works with Google Drive. So you can take a Google document that you already have in your Drive and you can transfer it over into Mind Map and start to work on creating a diagram in there, or vice versa. You can take a mind map that you've already created and save it to your Google Drive. And I apologize if our internet is going out and sound is going out. I'm hoping that you're able to get most of the gist of what we're saying. But if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And I hope you all were able to download the PowerPoint as well, because it has all of the information on there too.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is boom cards, and I am going to share my screen with you. Hopefully you guys can all see that. So you're going to navigate to boomlearning.com if you're interested in this one and create an account. I already have one, so I'm going to sign in. I'm going to sign in as the teacher. And the first thing we're going to talk about is Studio, because you can create your own decks of boom cards. And into full disclosure, I'm running on the starter pack, which is free. So I can have one class, I can have 5 students and 5 self-made decks in that account. The highest account they have is called the Ultimate, and that's where you pretty much get everything. And that one is $35 a year. But if you're interested in creating your own, let's go back. You would just click here and you would click on Make New Deck, and a screen like this would come up. I'm not going to go through creating a new deck right now for you. What I'm going to do instead is we're going to scoot on over to the next tab over, which is the store. And the good thing about the store is that yes, you can download things that cost money or cost points. In this case, you buy points and then you can purchase the items with it. You can click here on this little button in the upper right-hand side that says Find Free. And then you can refine your search by subject. You can refine it by grade. And you can see there's just a ton of resources, pages and pages and pages of things that you can download. The only thing I would caution is if you download something, go through it yourself first to make sure. Okay, now we're going to scoot over to this tab on the far left that says Classes. In this particular case, Ms. Rita's class, which is my class, has 4 students currently in it. But this is how easy it is to add a student. You would type in a nickname for that student, select a password. In this case, I'm selecting a bat and a bee, and you would tell it to add student. There is the option that you can require a password instead of pictures, but I've chosen pictures. And I'm going to go in. I have named all of my students, Bonnie, Nisa, Peaches, Roxy, are all have 2020 at the end of their names, and I want to keep that the same. So I'm going to name Sally 2020. So now I have my 5 students in my class. From this screen, I can assign any decks that I have currently in here. I want Sally to do the KUILSA. I want her to do Get a Job. And that's going to assign those to Sally. So next we want to look at reports. So for that, we're going to go to Nisa and look, because I know Nisa's done some good work in here. So she was assigned Get a Job, and I can see from this screen that Nisa got all of those completely right. So she's pretty much mastered those skills. I don't have to worry about that. And I can see here that she's completed several others, and she's in progress on that one. Let's go back and look at Peaches. I think Peaches was having some trouble. So we're going to see, looks like she got them done. There we go. All right, so here we see that Peaches got her assessment done, but you can see in the red, there were several areas that she did not do as well. So we're going to take a look by clicking on that box, and it's going to tell us the question that she got wrong, and it's going to tell us the wrong answer that she gave. And then she was able to select the right, because it gives you a couple of different options, and we'll look at the student version in a minute, but it gives you a couple of different options. You can submit, and if you're wrong, you can either answer again, or you can give up on that question. So there's a couple of different options that students can do so they don't get too frustrated. So we're going to take a look at, this is what's called a deck, and someone else made this particular deck, but these are things you should do before the interview. So you're going to read these: chew gum, call your friend and brag about your interview, turn your phone on silent. I think that's a good thing to do. Sing and dance in the lobby. Well, probably not. Pick your nose. It's now or never. Probably not. Make sure you're dressed for the part. Check myself in the mirror. And I'm going to prepare my resume. So here's the options I was telling you about on the right-hand side. I can tell it to give up, or I can submit. And then it goes on once I click submit, and it tells me that I was right. Now, this one I'm going to intentionally get wrong. The interviewer asks you why this job interests you. How do you respond? Well, my mom told me to get a job. Well, she may have told you to get a job, but that's probably not how you should respond. You should probably say, I enjoy working with others and being helpful. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to click on reports, and I'm just giving you a quick overview of this app. There's a lot of functions to it that we're not even looking at necessarily. So we want to look at Miss Rita's class. We want to look at science and organisms. The whole class was assigned that one. So we're going to take a look at that. And this gives us an overview of how the whole class did on this particular deck that they were assigned. And you can see that Peaches, Roxy, and Sally, of course, have not done it yet, but Bonnie and Nisa have done it, and I can see their progress. So it gives you some nice reports for when you're progress monitoring. All right, so I'm going to share my iPad, and we're going to see the actual student view of it, which is very similar to what we were just looking at when we were looking at that deck. We're going to select Nisa, and we're going to sign in. And when Nisa signs in, this is what she sees. She can see all of the decks that have been assigned to her. And in this particular case, she really enjoyed doing organisms, but she hasn't finished it yet. So she's going to go back in. Whoops, that's the report. We don't want that. We want this side. She can check her own progress as well by doing what I just did. So in this particular case, it starts her back where she left off. So it's asking her to determine if the organism is a predator or a prey. And she's going to drag those animals into the correct box. And if for some reason she drags one into the wrong box, it's going to throw it back out and allow her the opportunity to do it again. So let's see if, whoops, there we go. Now, all right, so that's basically the student view. And like I said, she can check her own progress. So she goes here and she can see where she got wrong and take a look at that and do a little progress monitoring of her own. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's not a huge overview of it, but just a short overview.
All right. Next one we're going to talk about is quizzes, and this might be great for your older students or students who are doing well at working independently. This does have free and paid account options, but the basic account option has plenty of features. So we are going to head over to quizzes. And here is my account. And again, I have the basic account. I can search for quizzes on any topic. I can go to my library, and this is where I have begun to create quizzes. If I need to create one right away, I can click the create button here, and you can create a quiz with the free account. I could go to reports. So how many times, you know, kind of like with the one Rita was showing boom cards, what has been our accuracy so far on that? And then I can create classes. I haven't worked much in this, but you can add students and also add it to your Google Classroom. So that is really cool. I am going to go back to my library, and I would love it if you all would join me. So I'm going to pull up the classic version of one of the quizzes here. So if you go to joinmyquiz.com, and you all are welcome to do this, hopefully someone will, so we can have a little demonstration. And when you go to joinmyquiz.com, you just enter the code quickly, and you will pop up under where it says start. So we have Nisa, who has popped up to join our game. And don't worry, it's a simple game. And when we're ready, we're gonna hit start, and I will show you guys how it looks on the teacher's side of things. So I hit start. And if for some reason someone had not yet started, they could still join at any time. And I can see what everyone's lit, like Cheryl popped in as well. And it's going to ask the students questions kind of at their own pace. So the leaderboard is based on their final results, but it also shows me the accuracy as the students go on. And like I said, if a student hasn't joined yet, that code is still up there so that they can see what the code is if they want to join. And as soon as all the students are finished, which should be shortly because this is a quick quiz, you will get a finalized report. I will show you that. Thank you all for participating. I really appreciate that. It is going to show me that Nisa was in first place. And it'll show me class accuracy I can look at. I can look at what was the toughest question. Everyone got 100 here, so everyone knows their pets really well. That's great. Which question took the longest for students to answer? And then just interesting facts about it. The average time taken per question was 2 seconds on this one. So you guys were very quick group. Everybody got 100%. The score is higher if it takes you less time. So just keep that in mind. You know, a student could still get 100%. If it took them longer, though, it's going to give them less points. So I wouldn't necessarily base their accuracy on the point number, but rather the percentage, the value. You can look at the questions specifically. So if you wanted to go back and review, and for those of you that didn't take the quiz, here were the quiz questions about pets. One cool thing about it is that after you get a question correct, it gives you a little meme at the end of it with a picture and gives you a little word of encouragement about how you're doing. So I found that to be really encouraging, especially for our older elementary students and middle and high school students. And even myself as a postgraduate student, I have enjoyed using this website too. So this is just another really cool resource for you guys to utilize. And there's, you know, like Rita said, this is just a little piece into this web page. There is a lot more that you can utilize with it. So feel free to poke around in there.
And Cheyney, didn't you tell me that you can create your own memes and upload them?
You can. So you can make your own memes so that, you know, you have a picture, and maybe if you're a science teacher, you want to do all science-based memes, or a math teacher, math-based, that sort of thing. You could even do pictures of your students in there if that's something that you have permission to do. That would be kind of cool to see their own faces on there if that's something you're interested in. The students could maybe even create their own memes. I'm sure they would have fun with that. So whenever you're ready, Rita, we can go back to the PowerPoint.
I'm working on that now.
I know, technology.
Right. All right, so there are so many wonderful apps and websites out there, and we can't even start to list them all. But these were a couple of others that we found interesting, or even some of them that we talked about today. And I believe that the link to the handout has been put into the chat window several times. There's also another one that we had created last spring when we were first hit with taking our classrooms virtual, and it has a range of helpful resources that can be used virtually, from language arts to math to science, and it even has links to virtual field trips that you can take with your kiddos to museums and art galleries. So that's available as well.
So thank you guys so much for joining us, and I apologize for the technology issues that we had. If you were not able to hear something, just feel free to send us a message, email us, and we can let you know. But we do hope that you were able to identify some types of technology that can be utilized to assist either yourselves or your students, and that you're able to identify at least.
I think we lost your sound again, Cheyney, but she was just saying that she was hopeful that you were able to identify at least one new app that you can utilize with your students. And at this time, if there's any questions, we would love to take those.